Here's a number that should make you uncomfortable. The FBI estimates there are anywhere from 25 to 50 active serial killers operating in the United States at any given time. That's not a historical figure. That's right now. Those are people who have killed more than once, established a pattern, and haven't been caught. And those are just the ones where law enforcement has noticed a pattern at all. Most serial killers do eventually get caught. Time catches up. Cold case units reopen old files. DNA genealogy does in 6 months what fingerprints couldn't do in 40 years. But some of them never got caught. Today we're going through 6 cases, some cold, some active, where the killer was never identified and is, as far as anyone knows, still out there. None of them have been solved. Let's go. Picture this. It's 1992, somewhere in the Midwest. You work alone in a small retail shop just off the highway. It's a slow afternoon. No customers, nothing unusual. A man comes in. He looks around briefly, then asks you to check something in the back. Routine enough. You turn around. You never see what happens next. That scenario played out at least 6 times across 4 states: Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, and Ohio, over a span of just a few months in 1992. Every victim was a woman working alone in a small retail location. Every shop was within a few miles of Interstate 70. Every victim was shot from behind with a .22 caliber pistol. No robbery, no assault, nothing taken. The consistency was almost mechanical. Same weapon, same method, same type of location, same highway corridor. The FBI got involved. Surviving witnesses described a white male, medium build, brown hair, likely in his late 20s or early 30s. A composite sketch was released. Tips came in by the hundreds. Nothing led anywhere. Investigators believe the killer likely traveled I-70 regularly for work. A truck driver, a salesman, someone whose job meant constant movement between cities. The FBI has noted publicly that a disproportionate number of serial killers have been long-haul drivers, precisely because the lifestyle makes it easy to disappear between crimes. The I-70 case was never solved. Based on witness estimates from the time, investigators believe the killer is between 52 and 70 years old today. If he's still alive, he's out there. In February 2009, a woman walking her dog in the desert scrubland on the West Mesa, outside Albuquerque, New Mexico, noticed her dog fixating on a patch of disturbed earth. She looked closer. What she found was a human bone. By the time authorities finished excavating the site, they had recovered the skeletal remains of 11 women and 1 unborn child. The victims had been missing for years, most of them since between 2001 and 2005. But their disappearances had generated almost no urgency. Nearly all of them were women living in poverty, struggling with addiction, involved in sex work, women whose absences were not treated as emergencies. The killer had wrapped each body and buried them deliberately in the same remote location, a spot that required serious knowledge of the terrain. The consistency of the site suggested someone organized, methodical, and confident they would never be found. They were almost right. No DNA match, no arrest, no charges. 11 women went missing over 4 years in the same city, and nobody connected them until a dog stopped at a patch of desert. The West Mesa Bone Collector has never been identified. Between 2005 and 2009, 8 women were murdered in Jennings, Louisiana, a small town in Jefferson Davis Parish, with a population of around 10,000 people. They became known as the Jeff Davis 8. All 8 were strangled, suffocated, or drowned. All 8 bodies were found in swamps and waterways on the outskirts of town, in locations so remote that investigators noted the killer must have had intimate knowledge of the local geography. The victims were connected to each other. Several knew each other personally, and a number of the victims had been police informants, some feeding information on each other to the same local police department. That detail sent the investigation in a direction that made this case unlike almost any other. Serious scrutiny fell on local law enforcement. Some investigators and journalists believed the killings were carried out by someone with inside access to those informant relationships. 8 murders, 4 years, 1 small town, 0 arrests. The killer, or killers, almost certainly still live in or near Jennings today. In November 2006, a woman walking her dog behind a motel in Atlantic City, New Jersey, noticed her dog wouldn't move away from a drainage ditch on the edge of the property. She called police. Officers arrived and found 4 bodies. All 4 victims were women. All 4 had been strangled. All 4 were found face down, lined up parallel to each other, spaced roughly 6 feet apart. All 4 were fully clothed, except their shoes and socks had been removed, and all 4 had their heads pointing in the same direction, east. What made investigators certain they were looking at a single killer wasn't just the location, it was the arrangement. The bodies weren't dumped, they were placed. The positioning was too deliberate, too consistent, too careful to be coincidence. No fingerprints, no useful physical evidence, no witnesses who saw anything. The Atlantic City Police, the FBI's, and the New Jersey State Police all worked the case. Nothing came of it. No suspect was ever named publicly. What makes this case additionally unsettling is the math. 4 bodies were found together because they were in the same place. If this killer continued and simply changed disposal locations, those murders wouldn't be connected to this case at all. There's no way to know how many victims the Eastbound Strangler actually has. The case remains open. In the spring of 1985, people in Japan started dying after drinking beverages they found sitting on top of vending machines. A popular soft drink brand at the time was running a buy one get one promotion, which meant it wasn't unusual to find an extra drink left on top as a free gift for whoever came next. Someone weaponized that gesture. From April to November of 1985, drinks laced with paraquat, a highly toxic agricultural herbicide, were left on vending machines across Japan. 13 people died, 35 more were seriously injured. Police found nothing, no fingerprints, no one who saw anything suspicious near the machines. No pattern in the victims whatsoever. Men, women, elderly people, children. No type being targeted. No motive that investigators could identify. Every other killer in this video had a pattern. This one had no apparent preference. They just left poison somewhere and walked away. They didn't know who would pick it up. They didn't care. The case was never solved. And in 1998, and again in 2019, new poisoning incidents using the same method were reported in Japan. Whether those were connected to the original killer or completely unrelated, nobody knows. No one was ever charged for any of it. And now, the one that is happening right now. Between 2022 and 2024, a man in Nairobi, Kenya, known publicly only by the nickname Vampire, was linked to the murders of at least 42 women. In 2024, Kenyan authorities arrested him, and then he escaped. Police confirmed the escape. Some local reporting suggested the breakout may have involved assistance from within the police department itself. What has been confirmed is that Vampire has not been recaptured. 42 confirmed victims, arrested, currently free. This is not a cold case. This is an active situation with no resolution. 6 cases, no arrests, no convictions, no answers for the families of any of these victims. And if there's a single thread running through almost all of them, it's this. These investigations didn't fail because the evidence was impossible to find. They failed, at least in part, because of who the victims were. Cold cases don't just go cold because the killer was careful. They go cold because someone decided they could. There's real reason to believe some of these eventually get solved. DNA genealogy cracked the Golden State Killer case after more than 40 years. New forensic tools are being applied to old evidence. Some of these killers will run out of time before the investigators do. But right now, today, every case on this list is open. Hold on though, drop in the comments which one you think gets solved first, and subscribe if you want more of this. See you next time.